Hi, everybody. This is Avram Chaptik from the Jewish Learning Exchange in Los Angeles. I hope you're all well. We continue to pray and hope for the hostages, for the soldiers, for the people displaced around the country in Israel, and that should go back home, and the Jews should be protected around the world. Who should we compare ourselves to? Well, I can't compare myself to Stephen Curry in basketball or Aaron Judge in baseball. They're not in a different league than I am. It's like almost different planets. But surprisingly, the Torah teaches us something this week that is striking in its comparison. The verse says, "V'halachta b'drachav," you should go in God's ways. And the commentaries explain, what does that mean? That mahu rachum, just as he is merciful, you should be merciful. As he is compassionate, you should be compassionate. How does this make sense? Comparing ourselves to be like God? And if I can't compare myself to be like any of the sports greats or any greats, how can I compare myself to be like God? As a matter of fact, in our prayer service in the morning, we say, what are we? What is our life? What is our kindness? What is our righteousness? Our hearers are like nothing before you, the famous as if they never existed, the wise as devoid of wisdom, and the perceptive as devoid of intelligence. For most of our deeds are desolate, and the days of our lives are empty before you. We're physical beings. We have to eat, sleep, use the restroom. How can we be compared to God? But that's a fascinating thing, and an encouraging thing, and an empowering thing. We have a neshama, we have a soul. That's a chelek elokai mimal, that's part of God, that we're all infused with. And because we have a part of godliness within us, even though we have to do physical, mundane things, we can achieve holiness and greatness as well. And God has confidence in us and understands in our limited way, we can be godlike too. And that's a very powerful idea for us to be able to integrate in our lives, understanding we could be godlike. Beautiful story about Rabbi Yosef Zundel of Salant. He was walking down the street wearing clothes of a poor man, because he was a poor man. And a woman asked him, "Can you help me draw buckets of water from the well? I'll pay you." Now he was this prominent rabbi, but he had no problem doing that. And he helped her. And when she offered the money, he said, no, next time, when you get me next time. And then afterwards, she found out that it was this special rabbi. And she was so apologetic. And he laughed. He said, I was able to do an act of loving kindness. It's beautiful. A woman came once to Rabbi Moshe Feinstein, one of the greatest Jewish law authorities, who was busy with the most complex Jewish law questions in the world. People sent him letters, had questions for him from around the world. She said, I must see him. He says, what do you have to see him for? He has to translate my letter in Russian for my sister. Translate, he doesn't have time for that. What do you mean? He does it all the time. These great people were able to show compassion and mercy just like God. And that's the lesson for us to be inspired by. To realize that we can achieve greatness because God expects us to copy him and to be like him in our own way, but still be like him, even though we're human beings and with our normal physical needs, but we can still be godlike because we have that special neshama, that soul. And this can give us tremendous strength and inspiration to realize who we potentially could be and to try to live a life where we're godlike and emulate God's compassion and mercy. And as we do that for others, may God have mercy and compassion on us as well. Have a wonderful Shabbos, Parshat Ki Savo, and may we merit to come to the land, as the Parsha talks about when we come to the land. And part of that process will be realizing who we are and realize with the potential that we can be godlike and not be afraid of that and be rather encouraged by it. All the best.